Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 2014 career mode here on the channel. It's round 14 here today from Singapore, where we still have yet to win. We've been getting so close recently, but there's always been something every episode recently that just kind of hinders our progress just enough to actually be able to close out the deal. But we're in our favorite location on the planet for Formula One racing, Singapore. Today is the day where we need to get it done. Alright, can we finally show up in qualifying here as we are officially underway from the Singapore Grand Prix weekend. Now, as you guys know, maybe if you're a stranger to my channel, Singapore is my favorite circuit on the F1 calendar, always has been my favorite circuit really in racing, and not just circuit but location as well. I just think the city of Singapore is extremely beautiful here, but I'm not expecting to still be great in qualifying no matter what, as I've just continued to struggle, but hopefully a better qualifying effort than usual is on the cards here today. And I mean, so far I would say that's exactly what we are seeing. A great view of the colorful city there in the background, a lot more vibrant than say like current day F1 games when it comes to Singapore. Now I mean, look at those colors just standing out with the red and the blue on the far left here. Now is that's going to be where I got to make sure I'm not paying too much attention to the city in the background and actually focus in on the race. A bit of a moment there that's going to cost us a little bit of time as well, tapping the wall on the right side as we go through the hairpin. I mean, overall, not too disappointed with the pace here. I mean, of course, it's still not going to be great, but we're definitely seeing an improvement now, as I got to remember, of course, how different this layout is compared to the current layout of Singapore, which I'm just finally getting used to. I'm really starting to struggle here in the closing part of this lap, so I'm not really thinking it's going to be as pretty as I expected here, as I'm just starting to slip and slide around a little bit now, as well as we'll get down to second gear, hit the apex there, now hit a wall in the process, but we're fine. It really doesn't hinder our progress right there. If we can come out of here with a top 15, I'm going to say we have an opportunity at least now as we come around these final couple of corners here. The double left-hander, hook it up, go hard on the gas, and to the line, it's going to be P12. Actually, relatively happy with that there. Hamilton should be on pole position by nearly a full second. Imagine a gap like that to second place in this day and age, how that would go over. But let's get ready to go racing. Hamilton set to lead the field to lights out here in Singapore. Alonso P3. There we are down in 12th place. No rain on the forecast, so that makes me feel quite confident coming into this Grand Prix. Can we actually get aggressive here on the start, make up a handful of positions? That would be nice. Here we go. It's lights out from Singapore. Perez immediately aiming his car towards the left side. Now Hulkenberg with a bit of a poor start. I'm going to try and dive up the inside of nobody because it's not quite really presenting the opportunity to me now, as we'll just kind of let things play out then, as I'm actually going to tap the back of Perez. This has not been a good start for me, as there's just been nowhere to go. We actually lose 2 positions. I don't think I've ever lost track position here. My goodness, what are we doing, gentlemen? Everyone's stomping on the brakes. We're making contact. I'm going to get a warning for a collision. I mean, rightfully so. We're right to the back of Kimi Räikkönen there, into the back of him. I've got to be really careful here, as it's not been a pretty start. Maybe this is maybe a good omen here now, as usually when we have a really good start, we back it up with not winning. So it's not been a great start. Maybe we back that up with a victory here today, but I am not hesitating today to get the elbows out, get aggressive, and finally try to get that first win here in F1 2014. There would be no better location to get that first win than the Singapore Grand Prix. As you guys know as well, announced last episode, we will not return to Mercedes for the next game, F1 2015. We will be going elsewhere. News on that soon. A big dive up the inside into the hairpin on Kevin Magnussen. We're going to give him the space to fight back on the right side of that McLaren, but he can't quite do it. Up into P8 we go. Felipe Massa up next there in that high speed on the straight Williams, as he aims to hold on to P7. Outside of the sloppy first couple of corners and not really gaining anything and actually losing time, pretty happy with how the lap's gone. If Massa leaves the door open, I'm going for it. Oh man, I showed the nose, but he was just far enough ahead to be able to maintain right there. So now we really just have to focus in on the DRS straight, without DRS of course. I'm going to have to get aggressive here on Felipe Massa now, as no, I'm not going to be close enough. Oh my God, he's gone. He's dead. It's career over for Felipe Massa. He just made it easy for me. We'll take it now, as I was not going to be able to pass him right there. And then he just decides, you know what, I'm not even going to attempt to make the corner. He's not out. Still got 22 cars racing here. Yellow flags in the sector, it looks like. Now, we've still yet to see a safety car in this game. I doubt we're going to see that here in Singapore. Yeah, the green flags are back out. We are once again racing. This is perfect opportunity again on another McLaren. This time, Jensen Button, leave him the room. We're going to be wheel to wheel, side by side, but he's just not quite got enough speed in that McLaren to stick with us. So now up into P6 we go, and we'll focus in on another Williams, this time being Valtteri Bottas now. Hopefully Hamilton doesn't drive away too far. That's the goal, to keep him from getting too far out, because that's kind of been the thing that's been happening here in this career mode as of late. Is we have the pace to win, but Hamilton gets such a gap early on that we just quite simply don't have enough time to make up the gap in the closing lap. So the goal is to, of course, make sure he doesn't drive away too far this time. Look at the run we got on Valtteri Bottas, sorry, there we go. Yeah, I mean, he kind of just pulled over and let me have it. So, I mean, up into 5th place now, and Danny Rick in there in 4th place, and then I'm assuming Seb in front of him for 3rd, and then it's Alonso for 2nd, and of course Hamilton out in front. We have the pair of Red Bulls here just in front of us now as we start this 4th lap of this Grand Prix. We're just slowly reeling them in. Our pit window is open in 2 laps time, and I don't know, should we go for an overcut or not, but Ricardo's about to make a move right here, which is perfect for us. Yes, I mean, it's fantastic for us. Here we go. If Ricardo leaves the door open right here, which he's going to, I'm going to send one up the inside. We'll clear him before the apex. You know, there's a catch. I hit the wall in the process, but somehow we don't damage the car. The damage is, fortunately, in this game, the damage is extremely forgiving. I got everything on the maximum for damage and whatnot, and it's still extremely forgiving, but we just got maybe a huge break right there, as that should have been our race really over with a choke of that magnitude. But now, instead, fortunately, we get to continue on and try to fight for this race victory. We're all over the back of Sebastian Vettel now with DRS. There's not much for him. I'm going to swing to the right side, and he's going to just slow up early enough for me to dive into turn 1 a little bit deep even, and a little bit wide on the apex. But we move into 3rd place. Fernando Alonso's up next. I am considering now maybe trying to do the overcut here. I think might be in our best interest, considering the gap has grown to Lewis, and I really don't know yet even if I'm quicker than Lewis Hamilton, so we'll kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm definitely considering trying the overcut strategy. 4 seconds flat basically to Fernando, so we'll kind of judge what kind of pace we have based off the gap closing to Fernando. And the gap comes down about 0.4 of a second, just shy of it, 0.4. So, I mean, there's clearly gain in it for us now. So it's like, okay, do we just skip on the overcut and just pit at our normal time? I don't know. We're going to have to make that decision, obviously, within the next lap. A purple sector 1, 2.8 seconds there to Fernando. We are flying. I'm thinking, let's just play it safe here, stick to our normal pit window, and just see how things kind of play out over the next few laps after that now. But I like the pace that we're showcasing here. We definitely have the quickest car on track right now, which has been the case a few times, of course, and we've come up short. So the goal today, obviously, is to finally put an end to that there and try to limit our mistakes right there. I'm really starting to slip and slide around here right towards the end of this lap, so I'm okay with boxing. In we go to the pits. Make sure we don't overshoot anything now. And there we go. A very competitive pit entrance right there compared to Fernando Alonso. Hopefully we can also use that to have an advantage over Lewis Hamilton as well. Get us out here. Come on. We're not going to quite beat Fernando out. I was hoping maybe we could sneakily get out in front of him. 3.7 seconds there in our pit box stationary. Looks like we're going to come out in a clear track aside from the Ferrari directly in front of us. We got to be very careful on the pit exit. We know this game is ruthless when it comes to that pit line, so obviously I don't want to get ourselves a pit penalty, as I feel like I was way too close to almost doing that. But look at that, 3 cars in between myself and Fernando. I did not anticipate that happening. Not what I want to see right there. We need to make very, very quick work of these guys. We'll get Maldonado immediately there, and now we'll try to focus on getting Gutierrez and then whoever's in front of him immediately after. But we'll get Gutierrez here in this corner. He's going to go to the left side. We'll just easily breeze past him. Marcus Ericsson directly in front as I am all over the place. The car slid around like it was on the worn option tire right there. That was absolutely abysmal grip, embarrassing, as we'll now get up towards the back of Marcus Ericsson, but I am not in a position where I can go for it unless, oh, he kind of teased me a little bit there, and I can't find a way past this guy. We'll get him, of course, in the hairpin, I think. I don't know. I made such a mistake right there. Now I'm just choking. I mean, that's embarrassing. I got to go for it. Got to go for it. Up the inside of Ericsson. Thank you very much. I got no time to waste. See you later. No, hold on. He's going to fight back here. This is just going absolutely horrendously now as we head down to the braking zone. And Marcus Ericsson, I do not like you, but we'll go around the outside and we'll take the position finally. All right, here we go. Let's see the moment of truth. Where's Lewis Hamilton now? Oh my God, he's already way over there. How does Hamilton do it? I don't quite understand how he's just, his AI is that good. He is, I think his gap's larger than it was. So, I mean, that's done us absolutely no favors. We've got to now just focus in and quite simply find a way to find the pace. All right, the gap 1.7 seconds to Alonso. The goal, I would say, is quite simple. We need to be ahead of him by the end of, I would say, lap 10 to have any chance in the world at running down Lewis Hamilton. And it's not been a pretty, you know, kind of group of laps since we've come into the pits. I've just been slipping and sliding everywhere. Like, I honestly have less grip on 2 to 3 fresh lap yellow stripe tires than it did on the options there, which is fascinating. But nonetheless, we just got to continue to focus in. 1.3 seconds. I mean, we're gaining, which is great, but I mean, my goodness, the car is driving horrendously right now, and I'm a little bit scared we're gonna get past Fernando and then kind of hit a wall a bit and just not be able to run down Lewis Hamilton. We have run down Alonso. We have DRS. Can we actually pass him here on the run towards turn 1? That's the goal. And he's going to go defend to the left side. We'll outbrake him into turn 1. To second place we go. Can we run down Lewis Hamilton now? That's the big question. We have 6 laps to do it. So we get Alonso 1 lap ahead of schedule. So obviously that gives us 1 extra lap to go and try and complete this goal of passing Lewis Hamilton finally this season. But he's got such a gap, and we'll see what the gap is here in just a second at the end of this straightaway. I'm not going to quite look at it yet, but a purple sector 1, 6.1 seconds and 6 laps. So again, we've been in this position before where we've needed to gain an average of 1 second per lap, and I think last time we were in that position we didn't do it. So yeah, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna put the fuel up to Rich now. We got 2 extra laps. Let's see what we can do over the course of this lap. Hamilton, I mean, I didn't gain anything basically now. I mean, we're 5.9 seconds back. So, I mean, what does that tell you? Tells me it's not going to happen here in Singapore, unfortunately, unless we just find a pace that we can't have, that we haven't been able to find suddenly here. But my goodness, that's quite disappointing. I thought we were going to have more, but I just simply didn't have it right there. Now 4.9, so we gain 1 second, but obviously we need to find an extra second over the course of these laps. I'm getting quite aggressive on track limits in T1 there, but I mean, fastest lap, that's great and all, but it's not good enough, obviously. So we got to find a second per lap and then some if we're going to get Lewis. So it's going to be tricky, but obviously, as usual, with 4 laps to go, I'm not going to back down from it. And now 3 to go. It's only 4.5. I mean, I ran a really consistent lap, and I just don't have enough for Lewis Hamilton. Now I'm going way wide into turn 1. Not what I want to do there, but Hamilton just, again, man, too much pace out of our teammate that I just can't quite compete with it. And yeah, we're not gaining anything anymore now, so it's just kind of, it is what it is at this point, coming to 2 to go. I'm starting to get really tired of this whole running to second to Lewis Hamilton thing. It's getting quite frustrating and annoying. It's just a video game, but my goodness, it's just like it never ends. And it all comes down to qualifying. And like I said, I've been putting practice laps in on this game. Finally, I didn't do it in 2012. I didn't do it in 2013 either. But I thought, okay, it's going to make a big difference on this game. And I put in basically, usually, about 5 or so laps beforehand, before I actually record the video. And everything kind of seems okay, but then you get into qualifying, it's just like the AI, they're just so OP in qualifying. It's just they always have And you see it in the race too. They always just have more grip than you on the exits of really every corner. So you're just kind of trying to play catch up in the race, which is what we've done basically every race. And in qualifying, you're not trying to play catch up. You're just trying to hang on the best you can. I mean, getting pole in F1 2014 would be something biblical. So 2 to go. It's not going to happen. I've accepted it now. We're 5 seconds back and losing. I think it's something maybe to do with me over revving the engine a bit here. But yeah, we're quite simply not going to get to Hamilton, which is really unfortunate. I wanted to win this one more than anything, and it's just not going to happen. Again, like I said, I'm getting very tired of running second to Lewis Hamilton at the end of these races. Still losing time on this final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. I just drove too hard early in the run, and we are paying the price. We could have tried the overcut. I think it would have gotten us closer to Lewis Hamilton, but I don't think it would have gotten us to Lewis Hamilton, and I think we would have just suffered the same fate at the end of the day, where basically at the end of this thing, the last 2 to 3 laps, I'm just hanging on, bringing it home now. So where do we go next? I think we go to Japan, and if that's correct, last time out in Japan, we did win that Grand Prix in F1 2013, but obviously there's quite a few races we won in that game, and that we have not been able to replicate here in F1 2014. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that one's going to shape up, but I've been going into these races with a bit more confidence, and I mean, it just doesn't seem to matter what we do. It's just not quite enough for Lewis Hamilton every time. I mean, the guy's absolutely dominated this season here. He's 6 seconds ahead coming into these final couple of corners, and our final time around this track of Singapore in F1 2014, our final time around Singapore in a Mercedes. Now, we are really the Sergio Perez of Mercedes. I mean, we just aren't quick enough to beat the #1 guy, but we're right now at least quick enough to bring it home a little ways behind in P2 ahead of the rest of the grid. Hamilton wins again in Singapore. We're going to round the final turn, and it's going to be second place yet again in Singapore. So it is what it is, just not quite enough as usual. We desperately need to find whatever we need in qualifying, but I mean, we're going to figure it out. We're going to find a way to win in the future here. So Lewis Hamilton picks up another victory over us in second, Alonso third, Sebastian Vettel, Ricciardo round out the top 5, Perez just inside the top 10 as one DNF on the day. It's the Force India driver of Nico Hülkenberg. Now, as we look at the standings, we're fourth in the standings. Obviously, the race is for second. Hamilton is long gone for the championship. He cannot be caught at this point, really, as in the constructors, the battle between Red Bull and Ferrari continues to remain very close while we drive away at Mercedes. Next episode, calling it now, our first win of the season. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day.